After the disappointing Shin Ultraman Blu-ray release from Cleopatra Entertainment that took 3 tries just to be passable, people have wondered, is there anything better? Is there a better alternative for an English release of this film? And I'm happy to say, there might be one. Let's take a look at Raven Banner's Shin Ultraman Blu-ray.
It's morphin' time!
Special shout out to all our channel members, including our Captain Tiers, Infinity Wartorn, Spin-54, Super Shaddix Boom, Toma K, MJ Klein, Infinite 1985, SSJ4 Jason, Oma Ender, Scrublord Gaming, Psycho O's, Kyle, Jamie's World, Matthias Lara, Don Ranger Power, Donnie Wallman, Dr. Grid, and Jeremy Carr. If you'd like to join and help support the channel, hit the join button down below for more details. Hello, this is Soundout here, and welcome to my video on the Shin Ultraman Blu-ray from Raven Banner. For previous context onto how this came to be, there is 2 other videos. I have 2 videos on Cleopatra Entertainment's Shin Ultraman Blu-ray, which was the first North American release of Shin Ultraman on Blu-ray. And for the many people that did watch those videos, you might remember that we not only had to have the release from Cleopatra, but 2 corrections on the disc to make it, again, passable. This, ultimately, I was like, 3rd time's the charm, as in, that's the best we're getting, because at least they provided what essentially was the bare minimum expected of a release by the end of the day. But a lot of fans have been wanting a better release of Shin Ultraman since then, because this just really didn't live up to the expectation. And luckily, there was other options. While Madman Entertainment in Australia did release the film, I heard it was a little bit bare bones, but the big one that everyone was looking forward to was from Canadian company Raven Banner. And this is their logo on the sticker they sent out with the Blu-ray. The thing is that this release went up for pre-order and it got delayed because there was video problems and audio problems that they went and fixed. And luckily, we do finally have the final release copy, which I did order and I did buy, but I waited to buy it until after I heard back from a couple of my people in my Discord server, because I was like, I took the guinea pig plunge with the Cleopatra release. I didn't want to go purchasing another Shin Ultraman release if it wasn't going to be good. And the things I heard about it were good, to the point where I was like, let's get this release, let's talk about it, because there was a lot of love and a lot of great detail and attention to detail from people who love Ultraman put into this release. And I think it's good to talk about it. So of course, we're going to take a look at the packaging, we're going to look at the disc itself, we're going to look at the menus, all that stuff, talk about the features that are included, and then we will discuss this compared to the Cleopatra release and which one's going to be best for you. So before we get too far in, please hit the like button. Please hit subscribe and the notification bell if you aren't subscribed already. I appreciate the support. Helps this channel grow and continue doing videos like this. So let's talk about Raven Banner's Shin Ultraman Blu-ray. Okay, so here is the release itself. Raven Banner's Shin Ultraman. Love this cover. So we have a brand new art piece here. You got the Shin Ultraman logo. You got Ultraman himself. Looking very dynamic, very cool. It kind of covers around to the spine here. It's a very minimalistic spine, which I kind of appreciate. It's a little different. There's not like a ton of text. It's mostly Blu-ray, Raven Banner, their product code, and then the name. Same on the other side. And on the back, we got this really nice art of Ultraman versus Alien Zarab, and I think that looks really, really cool. Plus, I kind of like this as opposed to a lot of slipcovers. They'll cut out the barcodes that's on the plastic case, but I like that it's just printed there, so it keeps this more stable. But yeah, really nice slipcover. On the inside, we got Raven Banner Releasing Presents Shin Ultraman. It's basically the film poster. And on the back, you can see we got nice shots of kaiju, of the movie. It's, you know, got all of it's for some reason rated 18A, which is a Canadian rating for like mature audiences. It does have Japanese 5.1, 2.0 Dolby Stereo, and it does have SDH English subtitles. It is an all-region release, but unlike the weird logo on Cleopatra Entertainment that said all, it's like ABC, as it should be, and it is made in Canada. So this is a Canadian release, but you can play it on any region player that you want. On the inside, it's pretty plain, but you do have the disc here with that artwork from the slipcover, which looks really, really nice. I think as a packaging presentation, I mean, it goes without saying, but compared to Cleopatra's Shin Ultraman, it does look better, even though they basically have the same interior cover here. They did put at least like Ultraman on the spine, and then on the back, this looks a little bit cleaner. It's funny, they use a lot of the same screenshots, though, for it. But you can see, you'll know which disc is which from the interior, because Cleopatra's is just the poster, whereas Raven Banner's is that. The other thing, too, is that if you're talking about overall presentation on a shelf, I think with the slipcover here, it's gonna look really nice compared to the Cleopatra release. But of course, what does it matter if the packaging's good if the disc isn't? It's time to take a look and get the final verdict on, is the Raven Banner release the better one? So here's the menu for Raven Banner's Shin Ultraman. You got the same artwork. This is the one from the back cover, and it looks really nice. It's got a nice little moving image in the background, but it's not too heavy. It's got kind of like a little smoke effect. You got play film, audio setup, chapters, extras, that usual kind of usual setup. It does play trailers for other Raven Banner releases before the menu, but you can skip them by just pressing your top menu button. Great stuff. Love to see it. I don't like unskippable previews. But yeah, let's take a look at the audio options, because what we got is the Japanese 5.1, the English 5.1, the Japanese 2.0, and then English subtitles on or off. It defaults to Japanese 5.1 with English subtitles on. So we got those options there. Now, of note, there is one subtitle track on here, which is for the Japanese audio. There is no English dub closed captioning, which is not surprising, but it is kind of unfortunate. Now, for chapters, there are only a few chapter markers. We've got, I think it was a total of 8. There's 8 chapter markers. Not a ton, but at least it can navigate you around the movie pretty nice and easy. Extras-wise, there's a commentary on the movie, which is done by a couple of the Tokusatsu fans in the community, which is cool. A video introduction by another fan. There is a trailer for the series, and then there's also the Also Available, which is the other Raven Banner releases for that. Now, that video introduction, you're probably wondering, can I watch it before the movie? And well, if you can come up here to play film, you can select with intro or without intro. So you can have that like roughly 2-minute intro about the film and about the franchise, or you can just play it without. So on the subject of subtitles, these are different than Cleopatra Entertainment subtitles. I'm not sure if these are the theatrical subtitles that were released, but they are white typeface with a black backing, so they're pretty readable most times. The timing's pretty good. It's a little off sometimes, but nothing crazier than like the Mill Creek Ultraman releases where they're sometimes a little bit off. They're pretty good. Pretty solid overall, I think. Though sometimes they'll flash up too quickly. They'll do half a line and then a full line, and that sometimes is really a little bit harder to read. But other than that, I think the subtitles are pretty good overall. The nice part, too, is when you pop up the pop-up menu, you get your options. If you want to just switch languages or switch subtitles, you can do it here, and you can select the commentary straight away from here. So you can switch your audio from the pop-up menu without having to go back to the beginning, which is really, really nice to see. And that's a feature that Blu-ray can do that DVD can't, and so I like to see that this is formatted like a Blu-ray should be, and that's really cool. You can also jump to the chapters or the extra menu, but if you press that, that will take you over to the independent menu for that feature. But I think overall, this is a pretty solid release. Now, the thing I'm curious about is how good is this commentary and this video introduction? So I think I'm gonna go take a listen to the commentary and then come back and give you my thoughts. So I've gotten a chance to listen to the introduction as well as the commentary track, and I want to say I think they're both great. The introduction video is a good introduction to Ultraman if you're unfamiliar with it and this is your first Ultraman thing you're watching. And I think that's a great feature. It's something great to have. It kind of reminds me how like Arrow Video's Gamera sets include introductions to the movies to kind of give you a primer of what you're about to watch. And the commentary track on this is very good as well. It is well researched and well presented and goes through the film, pointing out Easter eggs and references and what they came from, talking about the creative teams behind the film as well as the actors on screen. The kind of thing you would want for a commentary track. And something I think is legitimately special about this is that we don't usually get commentary tracks for Tokusatsu releases, even, the Japanese commentary tracks brought over. So it's nice to see some work and effort put into this. It's not just a fancy package. I do think this is a superior release of Shin Ultraman compared to the Cleopatra Entertainment one. Before we get down into the nitty-gritty of it, there is still things like the audio. People have been talking about the audio on discs releases for Shin Ultraman. It is pretty much the same as it always is for everything else. It's just the materials Toho provided, it seems. But it still sounds good. It still looks good. I don't really have any AV complaints with the disc. I think it's a pretty solid release overall. And I think the subtitles are pretty good. as well, and I think that they're pretty solid and very readable, and they're not dub titles, which is an improvement. So let's talk about this compared to the final version of this, which is the Cleopatra release. So these are your two options essentially in the North American market. Both of them are region free, so essentially if you're looking for an English release, here's your two options. So essentially what we got here is the more bare bones Cleopatra release and the more special Raven Banner release. And the thing is that I do think the Raven Banner is absolutely the superior version in all categories, except for just the movie watching itself. If you're just trying to get the movie itself and specifically watching it with the English dub, the Cleopatra one will serve you fine. This is kind of more bare bones. It's also cheaper. With shipping and taxes from the Raven Banner store, which I should link I'll put the link in the description if you're looking for this. This was about $35. The Cleopatra one was less than $20. So there is a price difference here. You are paying for the extras here. But while I do think that's worth it, some people may just want like a basic copy and they don't want to spend too much on it. And I think that's where the Cleopatra does edge it out in pricing. But I do say that if you love the movie or if you love Ultraman, it is worth spending the extra to get the Raven Banner release. That being said, if you are looking for the Cleopatra release, hopefully the fixed versions, the most fixed versions are out there, but you can still do the replacements if it isn't. This is definitely just if you're going to watch the movie once or twice or something. This is going to be for if you're going to watch the movie multiple times and if you deeply care about it. It's kind of like standard edition, collector's edition. And that's kind of just how it feels. The thing is, I don't really see anything outside of the price for the Cleopatra being better than the Raven Banner. The image slideshow included is just a bunch of screen caps from the movie. That's not on here because this was something Cleopatra made. But that image slideshow I think is almost worthless because it's like really bad screenshots for most of it. So I would say ultimately this wins in bonus features category. This wins in presentation and packaging. This wins in price. This is just simply cheaper. So that's kind of where we're at. And I got to say that, you know, in general, it is nice to finally get a copy of this movie that's really good. But I have had trouble, like, just watching the movie because I spent so long analyzing the Cleopatra release and talking about the problems with it and the upgrade discs and the, you know, here's this and this and this. I've done so many videos on it. And when it came to just, like, watching the movie, I was looking for, you know, did this do right where this did wrong kind of thing, as opposed to like being able to just watch and enjoy the film. But I gotta say, the commentary track kind of got me back into watching it as an entertainment experience. And it was because it was something different. It was something new. And so I'm really grateful for the commentary for that. I think it's gonna be in a few months I'll be able to like watch Shin Ultraman as a movie again and not just as something that I'm constantly comparing. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, I do think, you know, this Cleopatra release, I don't recommend if you want like a really solid release, but if it's the cheapest option, then it's the cheapest option. You know, monetarily wise, can't deny that this one is much cheaper. But if you're going to be going for the ultimate English release of the film, I don't see anything better coming than the Raven Banner. And the Raven Banner is very good, and I do think it is worth the money, especially with the more premium package presentation. So ultimately, you know, speaking, how does this look on the shelf? Because it's not going to be blending into the Mill Creek stuff, but does it look good next to it? Okay, so here is all the Mill Creek Ultraman releases plus Funimation's Gridman anime releases. Let's see how Raven Banner's Shin Ultraman fits in this collection. It's a different studio, it doesn't have to fit, but let's just see how it looks on the shelf. And you know what? That looks pretty good. It's got style, it's got substance, the logo's about in the same position, honestly. It doesn't look out of place. It's not like the Cleopatra one that looks like way lower quality than everything else around it. I think, you know, if you put this in chronological release order and, of course, keep Gridman as its own, you know, little side franchise, I think it looks pretty good on the shelf, and that's an accomplishment considering, you know, how just far we've come to get a Shin Ultraman release like this. So the Shin Ultraman Raven Banner release is the good one. Ultimately, at the end of the day, this is the good English release. And the best part about it is all region, so you can just, you know, pick it up if you're in any region. I don't know about the shipping options on Raven Banner store. I know they at least ship to the US, but they are based out of Canada, so hopefully you have options to be able to just buy it from them directly. Yeah, I mean, I'll leave the link below, even though this isn't a sponsored video, just so that way people can find it, because I know it's a little tricky to find these things. But I highly recommend picking this up. If you love Ultraman and if you want a good Shin Ultraman release for your collection, this is definitely the way to go. And it's nice to see a company put in this much effort right after Cleopatra just didn't put in any effort. And so the thing I appreciate is that this even exists. Because a lot of times when licensing happens for Blu-rays of movies and stuff, it's like, oh, all of North America goes to this one company. So the fact that there's essentially like a US version and a Canadian version is very rare, and also kind of amazing because that way there is options out there. That doesn't always happen, so I'm grateful for the fact that Raven Banner is able to get this pulled off. And maybe that's also because Toho's just hands off on this whole thing and the exchange was handling the distribution. That's how 2 releases exist. But at the end of the day, I think this is the superior release. This is the one you should get. But if you want to spend less money, then that's what the Cleopatra's for. But you do get what you pay for in this instance. So that does it for this review. I hope you enjoyed it. I know a lot of people have been asking when I was going to get this, when I was going to review it. Like I said, I kind of waited to see, is this a good release? It sounded great. And I'm glad to say that it is a good release, and I do recommend it. But if you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button, leave any comments, questions, concerns down below. Hit subscribe and notification bell if you haven't already. Really appreciate that. There's definitely more videos coming on Tokusatsu Physical Media and other types of stuff. We got lots brewing on the channel. Also, check out the channel memberships, the join button down below. It helps the channel grow, helps the channel continue to do what it does. It allows me to do crazier, bigger videos because I can, focus on this channel directly, and I really appreciate that. Also, check out our Discord server in the link below. Our live streams Mondays at 5 p.m. Eastern here on this channel, which are always a fun time. You can also find me on social media if you wish across most platforms at Soundout12. You can find my Oscar graphic designer on social media and Discord at DarkClass643. And you can find Hero Club at hero-club.com for news, interviews, and more for Tokusatsu and beyond. And until next time, this is Soundout saying goodbye.